All right, and welcome back to the YouTube. Yesterday was pretty shitty. So to start off, probably one of my worst games I've ever had with Nebraska. I think they lost by like 38 or something. Purdue shot like 60% from three. Just they could not miss a shot. So I don't know. Nebraska's defense just what I thought was one of the best defenses just got completely fucking destroyed. So bad call by me. I brought on Purdue, just couldn't stop missing. So that game was a write-off pretty early. Michigan wasn't a comfortable cover. It was kind of a slow build-up of their lead throughout the game, small back and forth, but they ended up winning by, I believe, 16 or 17, so it was a nice cover. Wright State, permanently banned. I tried one last time. I'm 0-3 betting them now. Great matchup, but comes down to the stretch. I think it was tied with like 22 seconds left, and then they just gave up a dunk. And then on their inbound to try to tie the game, they turned it over. So absolutely hate that team so much. Marist was a pretty boring game the entire way. They clutched up near the end. And then FAU, yeah, it was just a bad call for me. I thought they would be better at home. But UAB honestly was the better team that game. Give the benefit of the doubt to FAU, but yeah, that team is not even close to what they were last year, and it seems to be a talent gap, not a coached gap. So let's move on to the 5 games for tomorrow. All right, game number 1. This is just gonna be probably a permas fade spot for me against Minnesota. I think they are being super overvalued still, despite being on like an atrocious record. They're still the worst team in the entire nation in covering spreads. And I just think Maryland is the better team. I have Maryland as a top 10 team right now this year, and I have Minnesota as they're not even in the top 100. Maryland is going to be able to find the shots that they want to make probably this entire game. Minnesota is 110th in defense, but their best thing that they defend is the mid-range shot. And I don't like the mid-range shot, so if Maryland's not taking a lot of them, they probably prefer to take near basket shots. They kind of only take mid-ranges when the paint is kind of being blocked off. Maryland, yeah, they shoot the near basket 20th best in the league. Minnesota defends at 98th best. Maryland gets a shit ton of points off second chances and steals. Both of those on defense. Minnesota is ranked outside of the top 100. Maryland is 8th in second chance percentage and 23rd in points off steals. So, plus, Maryland doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but they're second best in 3-point percentage in the nation. And Minnesota doesn't defend the three very well at all. So, I can expect Maryland to probably hit a few threes as well. On the other side, Minnesota, dog shit team. They also just like to live in the paint and get second chance opportunities. I think really the only way they're going to get points in this game is second chance opportunities, as they're ranked 37th in second chance opportunity percentage to Maryland's 217th in giving up offensive boards. But I don't know. I know Minnesota's played a hard schedule, but Big Ten home court still a massive advantage. Maryland doesn't give up any free throws. They're 7th best in the league of not fouling, and complete opposite on the other side. So yeah, I think Maryland's going to cover the spread, probably similar to every other game against Minnesota. They'll keep it close for a little bit, and then they'll end up losing by 20. So first game, Maryland minus 14.5. All right, game number 2. We have Boston College going on the road to visit Notre Dame as 11-point underdogs. So when I look at this game, these have been 2 of the shittier ACC teams. But advanced stat-wise, Notre Dame has been significantly better than Boston College, despite having a worse record, which is why I think we might be getting an even better line than we probably should be at 11, 10.5, depending on what book you have. When I look at the matchups here, Notre Dame shoots a lot of mid-range and 3 points, and they're going to probably make a lot of 3 points this game. They're 11th best in 3-point percentage to Boston College's 338th on 3-point defense. In near basket, they're 37th to Boston College's 245th. Um, they, the only thing that Boston College is pretty good at is not giving up boards and steals, but Notre Dame honestly doesn't really rely on that too much, especially considering their average proximity is really far away. That's not really something that they're typically doing. If you look at schedule strength, Boston College has played the 216th easiest schedule. Notre Dame's played the 60th hardest. I have Notre Dame as ranked in top 75, top 60 teams this year. Boston College, I'm outside of the top 150, probably somewhere closer to the 175 range. I think in ACC you have the home edge here. Boston College has played better on the road, but I just, matchup wise, I think they're going to struggle. If you look at Boston College splits, they like to take mid-range shots and get points off second chance opportunities. That's pretty much all they do. And mid-range, they'll be at a slight disadvantage here. They don't shoot it that great in general, so even if Notre Dame's defense isn't great, I want them to take mid-range shots. And Notre Dame is ranked 53rd in second chance opportunities percentage, so, and they played much harder competition in order to get that percentage. So I think Boston College is going to probably just lose this game slowly. I think Notre Dame makes like 15 to 23s this game. Let's move on to the next game. All right, game number 3. This is Wofford heading on the road to Furman as 7.5 point dogs. So Furman is a team that I'm very weary about riding, just because they typically, they're due for a lot of regression, and you don't want to be betting on them the day that they get hit by that regression. But when I look at the matchup, I just think it's too good of a matchup for Furman to not give him a chance here. So if you look at Wofford, they like to shoot a lot of threes, near basket shots, and they get some points off of second chance opportunities. Those are the 3 things that they do. And if you look at the matchups, Furman is the 29th best team against a 3-point percentage. So right away, their most comfortable shot is going to be against a much better 3-point defense. Near basket, they're 67th in the nation. Wofford is in near basket percentage, but Furman is 68th in near basket percentage given up. And second chance opportunities, Furman is 62nd in giving up boards, and Wofford's only 127th. So 3 things where they typically like to get their points, Furman does really well. The one thing that they can't defend well is the mid-range, and Wofford doesn't shoot any mid-range shots. They're 343rd in percentage of shots that are mid-range, so it's not really a shot that they like to do. I doubt they're just going to start doing it unless they have to, in which case they don't shoot it well anyway. That's honestly the more of the reason why I like this side. But if you look at the other side, Furman, they like to shoot a shit ton of threes and also get points off second chance opportunities, and they also have a great matchup. So Wofford is 276th in 3-point defense. Again, Furman's not an incredibly talented offensive team. They're 157th in the nation. But I just think this matchup, being at home, I have Furman, again, they're super overrated right now, due for aggression, but I have them as a borderline top 100 team. Wofford is, pushing the 200s. We have the team at home, who's been playing better at home, more consistent team. I think they can cover this short spread relatively comfortably as long as they're hitting their threes. Give me Furman at home as short 5.5 point favorites. All right, game number 4. So this is more of just a fade UMES spot. I think they're just one of the worst teams in college basketball. And South Carolina State's not really a great team by any means, but they're like a top 250 team. Like, they're a respectable squad. They can put up some big numbers sometimes. And UMES just sucks. They're 4-14, and it's not because they're unlucky. Their record quality is atrocious, but basically matches their expected rank. And I think they're just a team that is going on the road against another team that is not necessarily good, but these are the games that, they're expected to win in order to have like a decent chance in conference tournament. So look at the matchups. South Carolina State doesn't really do anything great. They're a pretty well-rounded team. They shoot everything. They get points off steals. They get second chance opportunities. They shoot mid range, near basket. They don't shoot a lot of threes, but if you look at the matchup here for South Carolina State, pretty much they have an advantage everywhere except for the three, and the three is the shot that they take the least. So I think they're gonna be able to score a lot more often than UMES is. On the other side of the ball, South Carolina State's a pretty decent defensive team, top 175th in the nation in defense efficiency. And one of the things that they do really good is limiting the amount of shots that their opponents can take. They force a lot of shot clock violations, a lot of turnovers. And despite the fact that the one thing that they don't defend well is the shot that UMES takes all the time, which is the mid-range shot. UMES still shoots it at the 320th best in the nation. Like, they are still a bad team. They're not going to get second chance opportunities here. So if they miss the mid-range, that's going to be their entire shot, entire possession. South Carolina State pretty relatively quickly. I don't know. Again, this is probably my least favorite of the 5 games today. Just because the main reason is just fading a team. There's not necessarily like a thing that's jumping out at me like, oh, whatever. I have this modeled as a 17-point win for South Carolina State. We're getting 13.5 for our home team. If you look at South Carolina State, I think they're 7-1 against the spread after losing, and they're coming off a really tough 1-point loss against Delaware State yesterday. I think they're going to be pissed off and want to completely crush this atrocious UMES team. So, give me South Carolina State, 13.5 home favorites. Lock her in. All right, and the final game that I like today is Southeastern Louisiana going on the road against Stephen A. Austin. So when I look at this game, it's a weird one to me because I actually think that Southeast Louisiana is a better team. And I know you're getting a home advantage as SFA, but I think they're almost equal, and you're getting 4 points in a division where home advantage doesn't mean much in the Southland. So if you look at matchups, Southeastern Louisiana, they like to do, basically they just like to take mid-range shots. They'll get some points off steals and second chance opportunities. And those are the 3 things where they match up well against SFA. So SFA is really good at defending the 3 and the near basket, but they are really bad at defending the mid-range. So they definitely play more of a zone coverage. So they lock up 3-point shooters and lock up the paint. They'll kind of let you move in and take your mid-range shot. I don't like mid-range shots, but I like it more if they have a good advantage on it. So if you look at SELU, they are the 124th in mid-range percentage, and SFA is 209th in defending the mid-range. So they're going to get the shot that they like, I think, more often than not. And they're also going to get a bunch of second chance opportunities and steals, as SFA is ranked 300th basically in both of those stats. Look at the other side of the ball. SFA is kind of a pretty mid team. They like to shoot a lot of mid-range as well. But in this case, they have a slightly worse matchup. CELU defends the mid-range maybe 40 rankings better, and SFA shoots it slightly worse. So both these teams are going to be shooting mid-range, that's it. But the bigger advantage here is that SFA is not going to get nearly as many steals or second chance opportunities. Just because CELU has a slightly better defense there, and SFA has at least a worse offense there. So I don't know. I look at this game. CELU's been playing really good on the road. SFA has just been a really mediocre team. Super inconsistent. They played an easier schedule. I don't know. I think CELU is just straight up the better team this game, and I think they're going to prove it here. They could lose this game, but I think it's going to be close enough where they cover. So this is probably my second favorite game of the night. Lock in CELU +4. All right, that'll be my 5 games that I like for January 13th, 2025. If we have to go in order of favorite, I would say Notre Dame is my favorite game, and then Southeast Louisiana, Furman, Maryland, and then SC State is my least favorite. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it. A like, comment. It really does help with the algorithm a lot to get these videos out to a few more people, so I would appreciate it deeply. And if you have any questions or want any opinions, you can check out my spreadsheet in the description, or you can just shoot me a comment, and I'll be sure to respond as soon as possible. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.